Why society doesn't care about struggling men. Brothers, today, I want to tell you something you may not want to hear. Something so unspoken yet so evident that most of us have felt its weight in silence. The truth is this: society does not care about men who struggle. It does not care about your tears, your battles, your exhaustion, or your despair. You may think it does because you've been told to expect fairness, but that is the first lie society sold you. Let us examine this truth. Chapter 1. A Man's Worth. Society's Transactional Lens. In this world, a man's value is measured by his utility. If you're a provider, if you're strong, if you contribute, you are appreciated. But the moment you falter, the moment you struggle, you will notice the applause fades, the respect diminishes, and even those closest to you may drift away. Society celebrates men not for who they are, but for what they can do. If you stop being useful, you stop being visible. When a man fails, people whisper, "He wasn't strong enough." But when a man succeeds, they say, "It was his duty." Do you see the hypocrisy? Success is your obligation. Failure is your fault. This is not a complaint. This is reality. It is a truth every man must understand. And instead of resenting it, you must transcend it. Chapter 2. Why society will never come to save you. Ask yourself, when was the last time you saw society rally for struggling men? When was the last time headlines called for support for men battling loneliness, mental health issues, or burnout? It doesn't happen because as a man you are expected to endure, to struggle quietly, to fix your problems on your own. And that expectation exists because society is not designed to nurture struggling men. It is designed to benefit from strong men. Men have built civilizations, fought wars, created innovations, and yet when a man's inner world crumbles, society's response is indifference. You are told to man up, to stop complaining, to figure it out. And here's the paradox. While society will not save you, it still demands everything from you. Chapter 3. The Root of Male Isolation. When you struggle, you isolate yourself, not because you want to, but because you feel you must. Society does not forgive vulnerability in men. A crying man is labeled weak. A man who opens his soul risks being ridiculed. So you bury your pain, hide your fear, and lock your wounds behind a stoic mask. But know this: no one comes to save the man who has stopped saving himself. Not your friends, not your family, not your partner. They may sympathize, but they will not stand still while you crumble. Even love has conditions, and for a man, those conditions are strength and stability. The truth is brutal. You will only receive help if you prove you can survive without it. Chapter 4. Self-Reliance, the ultimate strength. So if no one cares about your struggle, what then is the answer? The answer lies in self-reliance. True power comes when you stop waiting for help and realize that no one is coming. Not society, not family, not anyone. And that is your freedom. Once you stop expecting sympathy, you begin to build strength. To be self-reliant means to accept your struggles as your responsibility, to prioritize discipline over feelings, to build a life where your validation comes from within, not from the world. It doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you become unstoppable. Chapter 5. The Weak versus the Resilient. There are two types of men. Number 1. The weak, who blame society for their misfortune and wallow in their bitterness. Number 2. The resilient, who understand the truth and use it to empower themselves. The weak man waits for fairness, for someone to recognize his pain. But life is not fair. Nature has never been fair. Fairness is a construct we sell to make peace with cruelty. The resilient man does not wait for fairness. He creates his own path. He rises even when no one notices, because he understands his fight is his own. Chapter 6. Stop seeking validation from others. The world teaches men to prove their worth to others, to seek validation through achievement, through relationships, through appearances. But here's the truth. The moment you need validation, you are a prisoner to it. Real strength is being content when no one applauds. Real power is knowing your value without needing it written in someone else's approval. And real masculinity is standing alone, fully aware that no one is watching and still walking forward with purpose. Chapter 7. A new definition of masculinity. Masculinity has nothing to do with dominance or aggression. True masculinity is mastery of oneself. It is the ability to confront pain, uncertainty, and failure without losing your spirit. It is leadership, not over others, but over your own life. Let society call you whatever it wants. You are not here to fit into its mold. You are here to become something so unshakable that no amount of criticism, rejection, or indifference can break you. Chapter 8. Brothers, this is your moment. If you take one thing away today, let it be this. No one owes you anything, but you owe yourself everything. The world will not lift you, but you have within you the power to rise. Do not let your struggle become your identity. Instead, let it fuel your transformation. Turn pain into progress. Turn silence into strategy. Turn loneliness into power. Because once you realize that society's indifference is irrelevant, you become unstoppable. And in that strength, you may even inspire others, not because they cared for you when you struggled, but because they will admire what you became in spite of it. Chapter 9. Overcoming fear and embracing courage. Brothers, fear is one of the greatest chains that bind a man. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. These fears are reinforced by society's expectation that men must always succeed, always deliver, and never falter. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite it. To overcome fear, you must confront it head-on, understanding that it loses its power when faced with resilience. Here's a truth to remember. Fear will never disappear, but you can grow stronger than it. Failure is not your enemy. Giving up is. To live without fear, you must train your mind like a warrior sharpens his blade. You must remind yourself daily that no opinion, no judgment, no setback has the power to define you. True freedom begins when fear no longer rules you. Chapter 10. Brotherhood. Building strong connections with purpose. Even though self-reliance is your foundation, remember that men are stronger when they stand together with purpose. Throughout history, men who achieved greatness built connections with like-minded individuals who inspired and empowered them. You need a brotherhood, not friends for superficial comfort, but comrades who challenge you to grow, who respect your battles, and who remind you of your potential when life feels heavy. The final truth is this. As a man, you are born into a world that demands you rise or be forgotten. And that is your blessing, not your curse. Because in struggle, you will discover your strength. And in strength, you will create a life that requires no approval, only fulfillment. So rise, brothers, not for them, but for yourself. The world does not care about your struggle, but you should, and that makes all the difference.